火密集，但是专家最担心的却是一场没有流血，但冲击更大的一场战争。
Really, the threat levels and risk of conflict expansion are just terrifyingly high. I think the second Cold War has already started.
It's about as high, maybe not quite, as it was at the time of the Cuban Missile Crisis.
美俄关系降到冰点，专家认为新冷战已经开打。历史学家在这一次的冲突当中，仿佛看到当年的铁幕再度落下。
We're in it now, and Russia is very much trying to drop an Iron Curtain, a second Iron Curtain, and Ukraine is trying to prevent itself from coming down on the Russian side of the Iron Curtain.
冷战期间，东西德的分裂还历历在目。现在，普京俨然也想让同样的情节在乌克兰上演。
Ukraine, it looks as if it's acquiring part of that role now, in as much as it is the final state between the easternmost border of NATO, of democracies, and Russia. I don't think this is a role it chose. Of course, Germany didn't choose that role in the Cold War either.
不只有乌克兰的分裂，让专家似曾相识。冷战当年扮演关键角色的美中俄，在这一次的冲突当中，仍然有剪不断、理还乱的三角关系。
It is still Russia and the United States, and there's a risk, of course, that this will expand to involve China, something that should be clear from that joint statement that Russia and China made on February 4th from the Olympics.
当年美俄虽然针锋相对，但俄罗斯和中国大陆当时因为领土争议，情势同样紧绷。俄罗斯在权衡之下，决定对美国态度软化，只不过今非昔比。
The U.S. is in the position that the Soviet Union was in the early 1970s, faced with two major adversaries. So logically, you might argue that it would make sense now for the United States to try and improve ties with China, to try and get China to maybe use some influence on Russia to cease what it's doing, or at least distance itself from Russia. I don't think the Biden administration is willing to do that, having declared that China is a major adversary.
除了中国大陆的角色，专家认为这一次冷战当中，双方对峙的武器也跟以往大不相同。
For the moment, nuclear weapons are peripheral to this conflict, apart from the single vague threat that Putin made in ordering an alert. But even the alert was more rhetorical than it was actual. We did not see significant redeployments of Russian forces in connection with the alert, which we did see when alerts were carried out during the Cold War.
专家点出，这一次的美俄冷战主要战场其实就在经济市场。
It's hard to imagine a shooting war breaking out between Russia and the U.S. That would be catastrophic. I think that the sanctions will be put on, and then Russia will seek out other world partners, maybe like China and maybe some of the OPEC countries. And I think a lot of the battles then will be on the economic front.
也因此，这场冷战对全球的经济市场都会造成冲击。
The market's been pretty volatile. For the most part, it's been down since the crisis developed, and you'd expect that. The market doesn't like uncertainty. And this casts a lot of uncertainty then in terms of the world economy.
市场更密切观察俄乌战火的动向，战争结果也将牵动经济上的冲击。
If we were to see Kiev fall, Ukraine fall, then we'd see equity markets take very big hits. If tactical nukes were to be deployed, the downside is immeasurable.
不过，专家倒是乐观表示，目前西方国家的经济体制健全，如果不是全面性的冲突，造成的影响很有限。但对俄罗斯而言，就算在这场战争当中取得最后的胜利，也加深与西方国家的撕裂，经济上更难挡庞大的冲击，最终可能也是赢了面子，输了里子。TVBS 新闻综合报道，
请支持专门报道国际新闻的全新 YouTube 频道 TVBS 国际 Plus， 扩大视野，掌握趋势。邀请您订阅并且开启通知小铃铛。